So welcome to Frame by Frame.
Hello again.
And welcome to an absolutely rubbish intro by
Andy.
And a superior intro by
Stephen.
Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. I don't care, I'm still free. You can't take the sky from me. Take me out to the black, tell them I ain't coming back. Burn the land and boil the sea. You can't take the sky from me. There's no place I can be since I found serenity.
You talking to me?
Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast?
Then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me?
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like some clown. You
I'm Peter Venkman. We all go a little mad sometimes.
Man that doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man.
Damn! Hot.
I'm kind of a big deal.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, baby!
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
we're sitting here enjoying coffee as we usually are, and I'm drinking from my Leonard Nimoy mug.
I've got my Shatner mug. Talking of sci-fi,
We like sci-fi.
we do like sci-fi, and some great people we are fans of. Alan Tudyk and Nathan Fillion done this campaign
Yes.
to get an original script written by Alan Tudyk to make a series called Conman.
Hi there, my name is Alan Tudyk. Welcome to our Indiegogo campaign. I am a writer and a director, a below-average carpenter, and an actor. This is Nathan Fillion, he's a producer. Hey, in 2003, we were on a television show called Firefly.
I was the captain.
Yeah, and I flew the spaceship. Unfortunately, after 14 episodes, it was canceled by a network.
Too soon.
Wait, are you saying too soon? That it was canceled too soon, not that it's too soon to talk about.
Too soon.
It's been 13 years. A couple months later, I was invited to my first science fiction convention. I did not know what to expect. I actually thought that the fans might be a little weird. What I found was that the fans were the best part about the convention and every convention that I've been to since. They were there to celebrate the show that I had been on, movies, comics, art, and costumes, games, each other. The real weirdos were this guy.
There was you,
I was there.
the convention promoter,
There was a security guard who was very worried about what everybody thought about him.
the insecurity guard.
And the portrait photographer.
Portraits are fun. You take them very fast.
That was not the weird part. It was the guy. Ah!
His finger would cramp up and he'd have to soak it in a champagne bucket full of ice.
We'd wait for him. The guy exists. These types of characters populate the world that I have set a comedy series in called Conman.
It is very funny. It's very funny, Alan.
Thank you, sir. It follows Ray Nearly, which is the character I play. He was also a former pilot on a former spaceship on a former space show called Spectrum. And it was also canceled by a network.
Too soon. You haven't actually talked about my character yet?
You play Jack Moore, Ray Nearly's best friend. He was the captain on the show. He is the one person from the cast who's gone on to great success. He's become super famous.
Obviously, this mirrors their experience on Firefly.
And of course, they couldn't use the Firefly
Well, of course not,
device
no.
vehicle.
But what?
Not like Larry David did with Seinfeld.
Yeah, but what I think is incredible about this is they wanted to raise. The target was $425,000, and they're on the way.
A modest budget.
A modest budget, yeah, to make the content that's been written. But luckily, because of Fandom, they're close to $2.5 million they've raised, which I think is incredible.
Way.
And I have a great love for these guys because I'm a huge fan of Firefly and Serenity. I thought.
But not to their face.
They're not. I don't know. I think
Yes,
I think
would
the
you
lads
tell
are
them
fans.
that? Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Nathan Allen in a brown coat. And mentally deranged, can I touch you? But, so yeah, this is I think this is a great thing, and it's such a positive.
It makes you feel as though that fandom does serve more than just it's not just self-serving. That it can actually come into the creative realm and actually create, and the stuff can get done.
And the idea, because
not get ruined as well.
And obviously, Alan is very, very scared of like bringing this series to a network.
Yeah,
and then what happened with Firefly is the network didn't understand it, didn't even bother to try to understand what Firefly was about, and just cancelled it without really giving it a chance.
It's bizarre that from the outset. I mean, maybe on paper they just needed to have a clear-cut thing. Is it going to be sci-fi or is it a western? And I think that
it's a sci-fi western.
Unfortunately, it seems as though that at the time they weren't able to handle that too much information. Maybe.
But I mean, it's Joss Whedon who's wrote it.
Producers aren't always that strong-minded.
Yeah, but you think, right, we've got Joss Whedon, it's his brainchild.
Trust him. I mean, he did Buffy
the
Vampire.
Buffy and Angel. They went on for 10 series. I mean,
trust the guy. Trust him. Yeah.
But they didn't, so they cancelled it. And it turned into this huge thing where people, obviously fans of Joss, watched Firefly, what they actually could see, because it was put on at weird times when no one was going to watch it, but these people found it. It got a cult following, and it ended up being this huge thing that people wanted to see, so they released it on DVD. DVD sales were really, really positive, so they made a film called Serenity that not many people went to see, but I think it's a fantastic film, and again it's gone on to this massive cult thing, which I think because of that success and the love of these characters, these people have come up, and I've pledged money myself towards Conman.
Yeah, I think that the two of them together, Nathan Fillion,
Alan
Tudyk, they seem to have a great chemistry.
Well, I think they're really good friends
and good buddies, and I think that they both know each other well, and well enough to be able to take on something like this and to make it good, because you only had to show me that one campaign with those two, and I could just see that they just put a lot of work and there's a lot of feeling in their message, and the fact that they've come up with 2.5 million shows that the fans are right there behind them.
Yeah,
and not since Star Trek, the original series, has that actually ever, even though it's completely different, because fans of Star Trek found different ways of dealing with their fandom and dealing with their loss of not having the TV show. It was syndicated, and then basically networks decided to pick it up because of the fandom. But nowadays it's now the fans themselves that are kind of taking action, and they open the floodgates and say, "Can you help us fund this?" Fans are there.
I think it's amazing.
That's incredible.
It really is.
I mean, that's it's taken a whole spin on the whole idea of fandom and being a fanboy.
Yeah.
And positive,
and it looks like you're going to get a lot of the cast from Firefly.
Yeah,
that's going to be appearing in Con Man, and James Gunn's going to be in it. My nerd,
bringing out the nerd. Yes,
love that guy.
Yeah,
and Gina Torres, who played Wash's wife in Firefly, she's going to be in it. She was in the original campaign video. But I'm quite impressed with the way they've kept up with the social networking side of it. It looks like through every stage of the production of Con Man, creating it, the writing of it, they think about doing comics now, they make so much money. It's going to be like daily updates online, and you feel all the people who've pledged money to it will be part of something beautiful that's being made, and I think this is the future of cinema production and TV.
Yeah, exactly. For the people, by the people.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of dream that we always had as kids, that we'd be able to do something about what we watch. And I think that now the digital age is here. It's been here for a while, but it's always in its infancy. People don't know what to do with it. Now they're kind of figuring it out. Crowdfunding is here, and I think that this is a big lesson for us all, that it is possible.
And do you think this will make networks scared?
I think that networks can always kind of buy their way into this kind of stuff anyway.
I suppose not scared. I don't think scared is what I'm at.
It'll make them change their way of thinking, and it will certainly force perspective and make them realise that you know that people. I mean, I keep on mentioning Star Trek, and I'm probably going to bring them up more often than not, because it was because of fandom that networks had to kind of listen to their fans for the first time. For the first time, the fans had something to say, and that they wanted to appease the fans, make sure that the fans were happy and supported in the vision of what it was that Star Trek was about.
Yeah,
they wouldn't dare go into the direction that J.J. Abrams has done way back in the 70s and 80s. But luckily, you know, that over time it's kind of split off into different directions, and I think that the fans. Once again, with this, it's showing that they are a lot stronger. They're a lot stronger-willed people, and they know what they like and they know what they want.
Yeah.
If you look at other franchises where people have basically just walked away from franchises because they've ruined it, or they've done something that they didn't want, or that isn't true, because a fan connects with a production so much stronger than you know. The actors and the writers are probably the closest people in it, because they're constantly coming up with the storylines. They know their characters, and it's big. It's big stuff.
Yeah.
But producers and networks don't. Fans are in between. They should be that deciding committee that says if something works or not.
Yeah.
And I think that opinion itself says that, you know, if something working, they will know. Not producers. They will know when it's working.
So find out about Conman. I was going through my Twitter feed, and Joss Whedon had tweeted it, and I weren't sure what it was, and I clicked on it, and I've been a long time since I've been so excited about something.
Yeah. And
that's purely because of the characters they created out of Firefly and Serenity.
Yeah.
It's just it's that show. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
And it's built up such a mythos all of its own because of what happened to it. You know, they didn't release it on the pilot episode, did they? They released it on...
the second episode, Trains.
Trains, yeah.
Because Trains was a straightforward action story that didn't deal with too many character.
It's insulting to...
It is. Exactly.
You know...
First episodes are always about characters. I mean, Ben Sisko in Deep Space Nine had to arrive at Deep Space Nine and learn about all the different characters that he was going to be interacting with. There was the introduction to them all, and then they had the big adventure. That's exactly what that first episode pilot was here. I mean, it
builds perfectly.
Yeah.
And it still leaves intrigue, you know, obviously when... so when Simon, you know, he brings this box onto Serenity, and you have no idea what's in there, and when you find out it's your sister.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? And it's... Yeah, I mean, I want to see the next episode. I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? I want to see this.
What is it? Yeah.
And when you watch the series in its entirety, it builds so perfectly. The River as a character is full of intrigue, and towards the end where she kills these three guys without even thinking about it. She looks where they are, then bang, bang, bang. You think, whoa, there's something going on there. And the second series,
training going on.
Yeah, but you don't know anything about it. You know, you find out little bits that she's been, you know, her brain's been worked on and stuff. You find that in different episodes, but what they would have explored in the second series and not have to rush through in Serenity, even though I think Serenity is a fantastic film. It was brilliant. I just miss it.
Yeah, and I think for a show that only had 14 episodes, that's saying a lot. I mean, 14 episodes, you can't do a lot of character development. I mean, that's pretty much, you know, most seasons. Years ago, when networks handled seasons, there used to be 24 to 26 episodes.
Yeah.
They never used to be too concerned, and I think 24 came along, and the 24 episode canon came in, and everybody started doing 24 episodes. And then all of a sudden Cable came along, and Cable decided that they would do shows that would only last 10 episodes, 15 episodes, and everybody realized that there was value in quantity in the quality rather than the quantity.
Yeah.
So you've got one season of Firefly, 14 episodes. That is enough for them to kind of have the quality to develop the storyline bit by bit, to get to know the characters, to get to like the characters and dislike characters. And
well, I actually think
it's not enough to just
Yeah, I think it comes from a British model as well, where we generally don't have 24 episodes or something.
Exactly, yeah.
We'd have like 10, 11, 12, whatever. And I think it's better that way. Marvel just did Agent Carter, which was a really good series, and it ran for 8 episodes. They call it a mini-series, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was great. The characters were fantastic. The money that they had could spend properly, because they didn't have that many episodes. So, all of a sudden you have something that looks incredibly cinematic.
Yeah.
Because they had the money to spread over 8 episodes as opposed to 24 episodes.
But it seems that producers, they get edgy because they're not getting the numbers, or they're not sure about a project after the first couple of episodes. They've done it with a lot of programs. They've done it with a lot of shows. Many shows.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Like
the Paul Reiser show.
Right.
That was pulled after the first episode because the numbers didn't look right.
Suburgatory.
Suburgatory was great. I mean, Alan
Tudyk
was in that.
And
it
what is it with you, Alan? Stop making stuff that gets cancelled.
No, that is I love that show.
I thought it was
very
brilliant.
funny,
Yeah.
well written,
Subversive,
well conceived.
which is our thing.
Yes, it was the picket. It was almost lynching without the lynching.
Yeah,
it was like it was lynching light, but happy light, and it was. I love Dahlia.
I'll get Carmen back on my own. I'll do like Yeezy did Keezy. I'll write a song about Carmen, then I'll shoot a music video, then I'll put it on YouTube, then I'll hire publicists, then I'll make it go viral, then I'll send Carmen a link, then I'll make all the comments say things like, wow, that girl really loves Carmen, and wow, Carmen should really go back to that girl who loves her. That might actually work. I washed my silk shirt. That hurt. The tag said to dry clean it, but without you I didn't read it. All of the sheets on my bed are stained red, 'cause I went to sleep with lipstick and you weren't there to fix it. You cleaned the house, the spick and span. You cleaned everything a cleaning lady can. But I won't throw out your plastic card, 'cause you missed a spot. In my heart, 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 heart. In my heart, 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 heart. One air to the bridge.
Come and shade up blind, she cannot see. That spoiled white girls think you the bee's knee. The first class cabin holds me last in their heart. Wouldn't look my way, I push a drink car. Hachi was Larma?
No, I want Carmen. Carmen, 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 Carmen. Carmen, Carmen, Carmen. Carmen.
I think Alan Tudyk did really well in that show as well. I mean,
He's a great actor. I mean, like
he has a bit of a nervous breakdown, I think, in this one, or a bit of a. He goes crazy.
Because it's funny how you find things.
Yeah.
I watched Suburgatory because Jane Levy was in it. It was in the remake of Evil Dead.
All right.
And I really enjoyed the.
For me, it was Cheryl Hines because I knew she was in Larry David.
See, it's funny how you find these things. So then I'm watching Suburgatory and Alan Tudyk's in it. I'm like, it's Wash! Fantastic,
Bingo.
I'm going to watch this. It's funny, it's how a person can sometimes become a character. And then,
yeah,
you know what I mean? He was in Dodgeball, and I mean, playing a guy who thinks he's a pirate. And I'm like, that's Wash, just pretending to be a pirate.
He's a likable person. You kind of feel safe with him as well.
Well, I think part of what Alan said is that he feels like that character Wash in Firefly was the character's most like himself that he's ever played. And when you see some of the like little sketches he's done as the build-up for Conman being made and stuff, you can see it.
Yeah.
But, you know,
see that.
and maybe that's how well that Joss maybe knows Alan. I don't know, but he might have wrote a character just for him. You go, I've got this character, Wash. It's you. Please do it. You know what I mean? This is your thing.
Yeah, and that's.
And I didn't really know who Nathan Fillion was up until Firefly. You know, he's in Saving Private Ryan.
Sir, Private Ryan recordings ordered. At ease. Captain Miller, 2nd Rangers, wants a word. This way. Take a knee.
Private, I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. Well, there isn't any real easy way to say this, so I'll just say it. Your brothers are dead. We have orders to come get you. Because you're going home.
Oh my God, my brothers are dead. I'm supposed to take a picture when we go home.
I'm so sorry, James. I can't tell you
How did they die?
They were killed in action.
That can't be. It can't be. My brothers are still in grammar school.
You're James Ryan.
Yeah,
James Francis Ryan from Iowa.
James Frederick Ryan, Minnesota. What does that mean? My brothers are okay?
Yeah, I'm sure they're fine.
Are you sure that they're okay, though?
We're looking for a different Private Ryan. This is just a big foul-up.
How do you know? How can you be sure? How do you know that the foul-up isn't that his brothers are okay?
Lieutenant, I'm sorry for the trouble.
I just wrote them a letter before I left. I gotta get home. I gotta get home right now. I want to go home.
So when the hell's our Ryan?
I don't know. Are you in touch with your CO?
When he starts crying, it turns out it's the wrong guy.
That's him. That's
Nathan Fillion.
Holy shit! That's a great role.
He's great in it.
That is a great part to have because it's like you get Tom Hanks coming up to you saying, "Sorry, I'm the wrong guy."
Yeah, my parents watch Castle that Nathan Fillion's doing, which is which is one of the biggest shows in America now. But my mum only watches Castle because it's Nathan Fillion out of Firefly. It's Captain Reynolds, it's Malcolm. So it's just strange how characters become huge and much loved, and
it's quite funny because the original Battlestar Galactica, the original series, I think it only went on for one season as well. The original with Dirk Benedict and
I think it probably did.
Richard Hatch and Lauren Green. They did another spin-off. They did the Galactica in 1980, and that was just horrible departure because they just found Earth and that was it. They should have just stopped it. That's the whole point, finding Earth. And that kind of took on that similar look to. I mean, it was kind of like the big jet engine crafts, and then they're coming down and they've got their guns, even though they had lasers. I mean, very few lasers in Firefly, but they are there, but not many. They're mostly power, just general normal power weapons. So but the similarities in the visual style is quite appealing because they're both. It's a very roguish show about people who are very specific in their personality, specific about their origins. It's a very split, fractured kind of society. Yeah, and and that's kind of what it reminded me of the most. Was that original series of Battlestar Galactica and how it took you back to...
It's got a very Star Wars-y type feel to me, mixed with cowboys, you know what I mean? Because you've got the Empire, which is Alliance.
The Alliance. You're Alliance.
So the Alliance is like the Empire, and then you got the Brown Coats, which were fighting against them, And, it always give a very Star Wars-y feel, but better. It's better than Star Wars, without a doubt. I don't really like Star Wars that much anymore. Now I've seen better things.
Yeah, but that hype ruins things, and people ruin things. I mean, I think if you look at the fandom of Firefly, it seems to me that they can't do any wrong because as long as they don't break it. The problem with Star Wars is that somebody came in, that the guy who thought he knew Star Wars the best, broke it, filled it too much, basically overfed the baby that it just vomited everywhere. and the fans turned their backs, and they turned into a great big band of haters. Star Wars fans are the biggest haters and the biggest assholes I've ever known in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. But that seems to be a thing that Joss Whedon doesn't. He doesn't seem to put a foot wrong. He seems really intelligent and funny, you know. And to go from having the show cancelled and then, you know, I think it was his first directorial debut in a feature film was Serenity. Which is brilliant. You know what I mean? I mean,
he wanted to keep it. He wanted that world to exist.
Yeah,
a little bit longer, and I think that he just needed to kind of get that out.
But now he's gone on to direct the third biggest grossing film of all time.
Yeah.
Avengers was the third biggest film of all time.
So, do you think that the Con Man show is in some way that they're going to hopefully gain enough revenue to do the same thing for Firefly?
I'm not sure we'll ever go back to Firefly now.
Do you think that's it? They've put that to bed now?
Maybe. I think there's always room for another Serenity film. I think it's there. But Con Man is really based on Alan Tudyk's
the real life
his experience was going to conventions, because he thought, I'm going to hate this. I'm going to have loads of people coming up to me and all this. But it turns out that the fans are amazing. There's no egos there. They'll dress up for how they dress up, and you know, and it's the people that sort of run the conventions, which was they mentioned on the promo video of a security guard that was really weird about what people thought of him, and then Nathan said like the insecurity guard, which is a really good idea for a character. And there's a great little clip of Con Man where he goes through a cubicle.
Hello? Bobby, it's Ray. I'm at the airport. These tickets are for coach. The deal was for first class.
You know I messed up my back at that sci-fi charity ski thing. Coach will break me, okay? I'll be broken for the convention.
Call me.
Excuse me. Are you Ray Nearly from Spectrum?
No.
Oh my God. No. I recognize your voice. Oh, no, I'm a huge Spectrum fan. Oh. Hey, sign my magazine.
No.
I just bought this. It seems kind of perfect. Come on.
No, there's nothing perfect about this.
Please. It's not for me. It's a charity thing. My wife hosts a Spectrum marathon benefiting people afflicted with spastic seasonal prinklings.
I'm sorry, spastic?
Seasonal Pinkricklington.
I don't think that's a thing.
It's a thing. No, she is filthy with the stuff. This would really go to help.
Yeah, you know, I would sign it, except that I'm on the toilet right now, and I don't have a pen.
So he ends up signing, but then there's someone on the other side of the cubicle who doesn't know who he is, so they end up having this conversation over him about who he is, and it just seems like really funny. And I imagine that really happened to him.
Yeah, I can
you know
imagine
what I mean,
that
in a convention, you know. So
yeah, you don't get any peace at a convention if you're that guy, or anybody famous. I mean, they must have to have their own private bathrooms, because I just wouldn't be able to handle that.
Yeah.
God. But I think there's funny stories like that makes this show work, and I think that's their own personal baby. Then
it is, and then to have that, and then to think, right, but I'm too nervous to take this to a network, because if they don't get it, they're going to cancel it. So what producers can we have? Why not have the world? Why not have fans?
The world, yeah.
And then, you know, if you pledge so much money, you get you'll get a credit, or you might get a T-shirt, and this whole thing starts to, you know, snowball. Yeah. And it's.
I think sometimes you need to kind of have. It's the whole thing of adversity. If we say, you know, when bad things seem to happen, but it's only because you need to go through that fire to the other side to realize that the fire is now behind you. That the amazing things that you wanted are right in front of you now.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you've just got to go through the fire. Which is a lovely song that was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was from the musical episode.
Oh, bloody hell, yeah, I forgot about that.
Dance through the fire or something.
Yeah.
I just suddenly just came into my head and
Well,
I thought, oh my
think
god,
of
Josh
it.
Whedon is just jumping into my head like random. But yeah, I mean,
What's your
adversity.
favourite Buffy?
It's adversity.
Just off the cuff, what's your favourite Buffy
It's that
episode?
one.
Is it? Mine's the Gentleman. Have you seen that one?
I don't. But the thing is, I can't remember any episode that all blends into one.
Oh, right.
That is the only one that stands out as different.
Well, this one to me was different because I was seeing someone at the time who was obsessed with it, and I liked it because it was always snappy dialogue and it was quite funny.
Yeah.
But it had this episode which was really creepy with these sort of bald, weird, floating men in suits, and they stole people's voices. No one could talk in the town. It was really creepy. It was sort of gothic horror-ish. It was very, very good.
That's really cool.
It's
like that.
brilliant, yeah, and it's got some really comedic elements in it. But it was really creepy. But anyway, So are we going to talk
It's
about?
okay. It's Joss Whedon.
Are we going to talk about Firefly then?
Firefly. Aye. So, Firefly. I don't know why I'm doing that accent, but yeah. I mean, think of the Western in space. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Let's think about that for a second.
Let's think about a Western in space.
I've thought about it.
Okay.
It looks like Firefly in my head.
Yeah, same here.
So yeah, we mentioned the pilot then, which is called Serenity, part 1 and 2.
Yes.
It really perfectly sets up the characters. You know why Malcolm Reynolds is so bitter about the Alliance.
Yeah, because he got screwed by them.
He did,
He doesn't want to know about it now. He wants to go his own way, and this is how he deals with it, by just keeping a very small amount of people. But then I think he's not comfortable with having so many people suddenly.
No, he's not. He has his crew, and his crew's his family, and you get the sense that he would die for them.
Yeah, but he's a bit annoyed about having the religious guy on his ship.
Seems to be, but once he takes someone under his wing, that's it. He'll look after them. He doesn't want to be bored by a sermon. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think that's just like the initial thing. That's quite a realistic thing for any person.
Yeah.
To be a little bit standoffish in the beginning about people, until they get to know them first, which is a nice character development. I mean, that's very, very, very real.
And you got Jane, played by a Baldwin.
Adam Baldwin.
Yeah, and
yes.
I think Jane's such a great character because he's not the sharpest tool in the box, is he? Bless him.
No good with words, don't use them much myself. Not as deceiving as a low-down, dirty deceiver.
Jane is a girl's name.
Jane ain't a girl. Wish I could say the same, Lawrence, but this is disappointing as hell.
I'll kill a man in a fair fight. Or if I think he's gonna start a fair fight.
All I got is that dumbass stick sounds like it's raining. How come you got a wife? You know what the chain of command is? It's a chain I go get and beat you with till you understand who's in command here.
I can kill you with my brain.
I show her good and all. I got man parts. So does this. I call it Vera. Saw that coming.
Well, there ain't people like that.
There's just people like me. Well, I guess that's something.
But he's going to end up just rolling and firing a weapon at the last minute if he can.
Yeah, but I like the episode where he turns his back. He ends up selling out River and Simon, and
turncoats.
Yeah, he turncoats on them, absolutely. But it doesn't go right for him because obviously the member of the Alliance who he talked to says, right, and you're going as well, Jane. And he so he ends up having to try and get them out. And
Job's done. Figured it was time for a little chat.
Seems to me we had a solid plan.
Smooth, you might say. But what I can't figure out is what you were doing around the back exit.
What? I couldn't go up the front. I had to improvise. Open the damn door.
You called the feds.
What? I got pinched.
Which is what happens when you call the feds.
No, I would never do that. My hand to God, may he strike me down as I'm standing here.
Well, you won't be standing there long. The minute we break out, well, you'll be a lot thinner once you get sucked up that hole.
Oh, come on now.
Leaving Atmo in 2 minutes.
That ain't no way for a man to die.
At once.
You want to kill me? Shoot me. Just let me in.
You know, I hear tell they used to keel haul traders back in the day. I don't have a keel to haul you on, so.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for what, Jane? I thought you'd never do such a thing.
Money was too good. I got stupid. I'm sorry, okay? Be reasonable. What are you taking it so personal for? It ain't like I ratted you out to the feds.
Oh, but you did. You turn on any of my crew, you turn on me. But since that's a concept you can't seem to wrap your head around, then you got no place here.
You did it to me, Jane. And that's a fact. What are you gonna tell the others?
About what?
About why I'm dead?
I hadn't thought about it.
Make something up. Don't tell them what I did.
The next time you decide to stab me in the back,
Have the guts to do it to my face. Can I come in?
Then when they stumble upon that ship that's empty
With the guy who's turned into a Reaver.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
the creature and the Reaver is the creature that is the only alien in the whole series.
It's
isn't
not an
it?
alien. The people that apparently went to the edge of space and found out that there's just nothing. It's just more space.
And they've kind of just
and
evolved.
it just messed with them. They couldn't handle it. But that character was a person because no one talks about how dark Firefly could be. Like the idea of these Reavers are these sort of these humanoid figures that have they've gone mad and they cannibalise people. They'll rape someone to death and then eat them. And I mean, fucking hell, that's dark, man. You know what I mean? It's
pretty
really
dark, you know. Yeah, they don't dwell on the darkness that much because the show's too light. It's too light to kind of go there. I don't think it has.
I suppose so, but the last episode, Objects in Space, you have this bounty hunter who comes on board, and he sort of like captures a few people, and he sort of gets Kaylee and in the engine room, and when he's talking to her, he's like really intimidating, and just out of blue, just says, "Have you ever been raped, Kaylee?" And she just bursts into tears.
Folks are all insane.
Well, my sister's a ship. We had a complicated childhood.
And the implication there is if she doesn't do what he says, he'll take no pleasure in it, but he'll rape her.
Yeah,
that's dark. It's dark stuff.
That is pretty dark, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, the bounty hunter is quite humorous in parts and stuff. But
she's the character, you know, who I'm glad because in a way they wanted to have her as a mechanic, a female mechanic.
Yeah.
They didn't play on that at all. They didn't make it out to be, oh look, here's a woman being a mechanic. No different to Kaya Minogue in Neighbours, actually.
Yeah, she was a mechanic.
Did I bring Neighbours up again? but the idea is that she's actually quite a sensitive person. She's a very sensitive person. She got upset when the captain said something to her and about the dress.
Yeah, and it upsets her.
It upset her, so she.
That's a great episode.
But they don't have to. The good thing about her character is that they don't have to give her the Sigourney Weaver penis job.
No.
That makes her because she's a mechanic. She has to be a tomboy.
Every time I get an erection now, I'm going to be thinking, I've just got a Sigourney.
Exactly.
The Weaver's coming. Come on, jump on it before it goes away.
Are you ready for a Ripley?
The Ripley effect. Oh, Jesus.
But, because usually when they have a female character who's doing a manly job, they kind of push the point of her being manly in the job or being tomboyish. But
Yeah.
she's got straight away. They want to tap into her feminine side as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's damn good. She's more resilient as a character and more flexible that way.
I think Joss Whedon does a lot for feminism.
Yeah.
He always has really strong women characters.
Exactly.
And it's never patronising. It's always well drawn out. And
you can tell she's earned that position on that ship pretty through the excellences, and it shouldn't even be talked about. about. It should
Well, and
just
it
be
doesn't have to
accepted
be.
as, yeah.
But the way he finds her is he has a mechanic who's this bloke, and he goes down to the engine room, and this bloke's having sex with Kaylee. And by sort of splitting them open and talking, it turns out she's like a genius and knows exactly everything about the engine. So he fires him and keeps her, and that's how she ends up on the ship.
Oh man,
it's brilliant, man.
But at least they're not afraid of letting her do that as well, to get caught having sex. I mean, it's just a thing that.
And then to have the idea of Honora being essentially a prostitute, but it's now this esteemed career. It's this job that you aspire to be.
Yeah, it's a courtesan.
Yeah,
it's the French courtesan. The amazing thing of being the Nicole Kidman character in Moulin Rouge.
Yeah,
but to a position of like respect.
So like millionaire businessmen will pay for one of these to be on his arm at a party. That's what happens in Shindig.
Yeah,
with the dress, you know what I mean? Where she's invited, she's been bought, and that's what causes Mal to punch him when she's sort of like, she's my property tonight. So he lamps him. I accepts her, and they end up having to have that duel in the morning. It's great writing. It's so good.
It's fun, and that's the bottom line. That is actually, it doesn't. It's a show that takes the characters seriously enough, but it's not afraid of just letting itself just be good, solid entertainment and not get too caught up in anything. That's the one criticism that I have for the new Battlestar Galactica. That kind of got too wrapped up in its own mythos and kind of stretched the whole religious thing too far,
Right.
and it kind of lost its ability to just be fun to watch, like The Walking Dead again. It just got too wrapped up in its.
The X-Files did it.
Yeah, and it just became. Those became not so much fun to watch anymore.
Yeah, well, Series 4, the X-Files, was so dark and all about the black oil and all
Dry.
that.
It just became very dry and grey to watch. But that's, and it makes you wonder if Fox had actually kept Firefly going any longer. Was there a potential that Firefly could have been broken, and that fans could have just stopped watching it because it was ruined by the network? Do you think that maybe...
I don't think Joss would have let anything... If the network started saying, no, we want more of this, you need to start doing this, I don't think he'd let that happen.
Yeah, and in a way it was kind of like meant to... It was just the way it was.
Yeah.
There was no way they were going to let it happen that way. Because I kind of feel as though that, a lot of shows tend to do that because they just run out of ideas, run out of steam. But that's why I'm surprised that if this show has such a big scope, such a huge... field of view of different possibilities, that it hasn't actually taken form of another show or something else, that they're not going to go back to it. Surprises me, actually.
Well, I know Joss Whedon is backed out of doing any more Avengers films. I think he'll probably still be a producer on stuff, but
yeah,
he did Avengers, the first one, which obviously was this massive success.
But
let's say again with Joss's writing, it's always subversive. We keep coming back to that word when we review stuff, and that seems to be what we gravitate towards, subversive scripts.
Yeah.
It builds up a cliche, and you think, oh, right, I see where it's going. Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
totally
going over there now.
surprised.
Wow,
Yeah.
brilliant. It's great. And
but it's made us into subversive writers ourselves in our own right. I feel as though that we have the ability to understand this mechanism and to actually, I think we really need to start to, we should really just write some really cool stuff and be subversive ourselves, because this is just so much out there that's just generic crap.
I think we should write something called Con Woman.
Con Woman.
Yeah, and let's try and get it out before these get Con Man out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be devious. Let's just do it.
Con Woman.
Con Femme.
Yeah, but again, always been.
Yeah.
Always been subversive with his scripts. The episode Our Mrs. Reynolds.
Yeah.
Where he ends up getting married. They'd help these villagers out, and then the villagers throw this party, and he get drunk, and he ends up inadvertently marrying this girl who's like this real timid character from this village. And he's sort of like he's trying to stay away from her. She's incredibly attractive, and but it turns out that she's playing them, and she ends up like butt naked in Mal's quarters, and they end up kissing, and she's got something on his lips that just sort of he passes out, and she does something to the ship. So these other people can steal the ship, and it's about getting the ship back and stuff. And again, you got this character who's subversive straight away. You know, she comes off with this timid, but ends up she's sort of very hard, incredibly beautiful, very intelligent.
Yeah, and that could work, and it could also backfire, especially if they make the character too much of an actor, chameleon kind of actor that suddenly switches a switch and they're evil. You know, but it doesn't sound like they did that.
They're not, and no, it's brilliant, and she's always trying to. Once she's got away from there, she goes to the cockpit and Wash Alan Tudyk is washes there, and she tries to seduce him, and it doesn't work because he's married to
Zoe.
Zoe, yeah, there we go.
Washbourne. Well, same last name. Just
call
her Mrs. Washbourne.
Yeah, so married to Zoe, so she ends up just knocking him out, and it's
knocking him out.
Yeah. She knocks him out, and then that's when she does something to the ship. So it's going towards this sort of electrical net where you steal the ship off them and kill them lot.
Yeah.
And it's just brilliant. It's such a great episode. You need to see it all.
Yeah, I think I'm watching them with Aspen, my little boy.
Yeah.
And because that's the thing. I know I can watch that without it being horrible. There's no horror or violence in it. That's over the top.
No, it's not.
It's kind of nice. You can watch it any time. I like that. But it still hasn't captured me in the way it's captured you. And I think that.
See, when I watched Serenity first.
Yeah.
The film, and my mate said, watch this film, you'll love it. When it was on the cinema, come to the cinema with me and watch this film, and I was like, I couldn't. And then I was in some bloody supermarket, and there was this Serenity, and it looked like something I'd enjoy just by the cover.
Yeah.
So I bought it, took it home, watched it, and loved it.
Yeah.
Thought it was amazing.
Sometimes it just takes that little bit of faith just to jump.
Well, then I had to bring my mate up. You've got to watch this film, Serenity. He goes, that's the film I told you to watch at the cinema, months ago. That's right. Oh God. Well, I loved it. Yeah, it was really good. And then he said, well, it's based on the series called Firefly. Can you get a load of that? Yeah, it's like a tenner. So I ended up being the box and just binge watched it and just fell in love with the characters. And falling in love with the characters makes me fall in love with the actors, and then anything the actors are in, I'm just love. You know what I mean? It's strange.
It is a rare thing. I mean, I enjoyed Battlestar Galactica. Don't get me wrong, but I do feel as though they went too far on one subject matter. But I loved the first couple of seasons of that, and there were some beautiful moments. And I fell in love with the characters too. But of course, it just wavered off at the end. But I wanted you to watch that.
Yeah.
And I don't think you got
I've started it, but
it's the same thing though. It's kind of like that leap of faith.
Well, I'm happy to binge watch it. It's just who will binge watch it with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like Firefly. I couldn't get the wife to watch it until finally she decided to watch it and then got into it. And
but
she's texting her, when you're back from work, I want to put it back on.
I want to watch it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing about the binge watching thing. I mean, there's nothing on television right now that I could sit there and binge and just watch one episode. Well,
it's brilliant.
I see again. I'll probably watch it and then I'll call you up like you did your friend and say, "Hey, I just watched the first episode. It's really good. I told you." Then you can yell at me and say, "I told you so."
Well, the thing with Fortitude is where I'm up to now. Is like it was just like really cool murder mystery, quite Twin Peaks in style, but based in the Arctic. And then just the end of one of the episodes, it turns into like full-on horror. I mean, really seriously graphic horror, and I wasn't expecting that.
Psychological thriller.
It's more than that.
Great.
It's interesting because we've been watching Arrow, DC thing, and it's garbage, but I can't stop watching it.
Yeah,
it literally has this line in it where you look at it, he goes, the hug, Arrow and this girl, and then she says to him, I know you better than I know my own name. What a shit line. It's awful. The acting's bad, but for some reason it's like a car crash. I can't keep my eyes away from it. See, it's because Joss Whedon is the king of the geeks.
Yeah, but maybe
anything he does, people want to watch it.
I'm just wondering if the timing of Firefly could have been just perfect. That unfortunately that it was cancelled, but fortunately that the fans were able to. I mean, if you think about it, it's just a destiny, really. They were destined to have the fandom that were now there to support these two guys to do this show that they want to make now.
Yeah.
And that they've actually got 2.5 million because of that. But back in 2002, was it Firefly?
Yeah, I think so, around about then.
I mean, the internet was kind of like there weren't that many shows. There wasn't that many things going on the internet where everybody was overpopulating things and a big swelling of. There's too many things out there now.
Yeah.
There's too many different networks making too many different shows that nobody really has a following anymore. Everything's just kind of like binge watching. Maybe Firefly was the last of those kind of shows that wasn't a binge watch show. And that it just became, it was just at the right time before things got overexposed and over. Do you know what I mean? There's a timing about it that seems to, yeah. Because I don't get how a show like this can just get cancelled and nobody gives a shit.
I'd never heard of it.
Exactly, Caprica. It's like nobody heard of it. They didn't even bother to even do anything with it. That's just sci-fi. That's just sci-fi being dirty. But yeah, I mean, so many shows have been cancelled, and I can't understand why. It's just bizarre. But there is no fandom like Firefly.
No, it's true, and I do think it's the strength of the characters. What happened with it? The way they only aired so many episodes and then cancelled it, and. Again, the strength of love for Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it holds down to it comes down to that.
Okay, so Serenity.
Hands and knees and head bowed down. Everybody down. This is a robbery, but what we're after is not yours. Listen up. We're coming down to empty that vault.
You have to give me your authorization password. Okay. This is the captain. We may experience some slight turbulence and then explode.
I don't want to explode.
So here's us, on the raggedy edge. Come a day, there won't be room for naughty men like us to slip about at all. I'm taking your sister under my protection here.
She's conditioned for combat. She's a creature of extraordinary grace.
The only people she's a threat to is us on this boat.
River, do you want to stay with them?
It isn't safe for them.
Every minute you keep her from me, more people will die.
You think I care?
Of course you can.
The Alliance has gone to enormous trouble to find your little friend. You'll know what it is you're carrying.
Somebody say hell yeah!
Do you know that girl?
I really don't.
It's worse than you know.
It usually is.
So where's it writ that we gotta lay down our lives for her?
You want to run this ship?
Yes.
Well, you can't. No more running. I aim to misbehave.
It's a fair bet the Alliance knows what's coming.
No, they're not going to see this coming.
Do you really think any of us are going to get through this?
Well, I might.
This is gonna get pretty interesting.
Define interesting.
Oh God, we're all gonna die?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
The universe is going to know the truth.
You willing to die for that?
I am.
It's brilliant.
How did that come about?
Well, that came
Why?
about because the fans, the DVD sales of Firefly were really good. And I think networks, producers have thought, well, maybe we can make some money and maybe we can make something out of this. So they let Joss Whedon write and direct a film. I would imagine many of the many of these stories in Serenity would have been stretched further over series 2. But I think Serenity was just such a great... Again, you've got great actors in it. Is it Chiwetel Ejiofor? Is that how you pronounce his name? Yeah, Chiwetel Ejiofor. It'll be how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
And he's so good in it because he's such a great actor and everything he's in, he's brilliant. And he plays like sort of an assassin who's after River. Well, because this is where you find out that River has been... Not only has her brain been tampered with, she's been turned into a weapon.
Yeah.
This beautiful thing, and the they trigger it with that word within. It's like an advertisement on TV, and in it, she just goes Miranda, and then basically kicks the hell out of a whole pub full of people. And
Sweet.
Then, and then you just figure out. But again, there's nothing better than a girl that can seriously kick out. I love this film so much. I named my daughter River because of her, because of that character.
It's such an honor, isn't it, to be able to find characters that you just, you know.
If I ever
model for it,
met Joss Whedon, I just tell him I love Serenity so much. I named my daughter River after River Tam.
Yeah, I always wonder how they react to that kind of thing. I always wonder.
You might think, "Get away from me, you freak!"
Yeah, because
get back to carnivals.
A friend of mine who came over the other day, she's a huge X-Files fan. She named her daughter Dana.
Nothing wrong with that.
And I think it's a lovely name. But she said, actually, I can't imagine. I can't imagine her going up to David Duchovny or Gillian Anderson and saying, "I named my daughter Dana." I'll be like, that's...
See, I want to go to maybe Chris Carter.
Chris Carter.
I may say to him, "Oh, you know, I love it so much. I call Dana." But not go up to Gillian Anderson and say, "You know that character that you played?
Yeah.
I named my daughter after you."
Yeah.
It's like going up to Summer Glau and go, "Summer, I named her River after you in Serenity."
Look at her, she's you.
Teach her how to fight.
Yeah, do please. Say Miranda. Oh man, yeah. Just say that. I've even hypnotized her to make her believe that every time she hears Miranda, she starts to fight.
Yeah.
You're sure that cruel?
But Miranda turns out to be a place, a planet. And it turns out they tried a certain chemical to put into the airstream and to stop violence, and it made everybody on this planet not only stop violence, they stopped everything. They stopped doing anything. They just stopped going to work, they stopped doing that, and eventually they stopped eating, stopped drinking, and they just died. Just sat there and died. And the Alliance created that. But certain parts of them who were exposed to this chemical, husband to the airstream, went the other way. They went super violent, and they started to do things, cut themselves. They created the Reavers. The Alliance created the Reavers, and that's what they've been trying to hide. So Mal's job now is to get this evidence, take it, and basically project it against throughout the solar system, the universe.
Okay, so
and tell everyone that Alliance is the reason that we have these Reavers, this threat, and it's the people should know, and they've basically hidden it away.
So instead of fighting, he finds a cause within himself.
Yeah, he finds a cause
to be able to break down the system from within.
Yeah,
and by giving them the evidence that will simply change the whole universe as we know it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
Yeah. Brilliant.
That's pretty strong. I mean, and that's just Serenity itself.
That's Serenity. Obviously, would have gone into the series more, but the actual film Serenity, that's what it ends up being about. And it has this great scene because to get to this planet, they have to go through Reaver space. So they just switch the engine off and just coast through, and they manage to get through. Now, the assassin knows that they're there. So when they're coming back, he's saying basically, you know, Captain Reynolds is like saying he's not going to see this coming, and they say so. The Alliance are waiting for they come through this cloud, this space cloud.
I'm reading activity in the cloud.
Lock on fire in my command. You should have let me see her, Captain. We should have done this as men, not with fire.
Sir.
Vessel in range. Lock on. Bastard's not even changing course.
Sir?
Target the Reavers. Target the Reavers. Target everyone. Somebody fire!
I'm a leaf on the wind. Watch how I soar.
I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna win. What does that mean?
They get down to the planet where he's going to transmit this signal, and he's fighting the assassin, and then, you know, they're trying to fight off all the Reavers, and you just think it's not going to work, and River's like freaking out. She's got all these voices in her head, and then her brother Simon gets shot, and she's lying there, and he's saying to River, I'm sorry, you know, I just wanted to protect you. And she's like, you've always protected me, Simon. Now it's my turn. And she just jumps through, shuts the door, and then she just kicks the shit out of all these Reavers, and it's just brilliant filmmaking, and exciting and funny, and just
everything.
Yeah, this how he can write in it. That's always subversive, where he's like, he has to go down to a planet because he knows this assassin's down there and it's a trap, because Honora's called him, but they were nice together, so he knows it's a trap, but he's going to go down there anyway. But he says, if I'm not back within a day, you know, and they're like, so we'll leave. Like, no, come for me, it's cold down there. No, you don't leave me down there. I want you to come. But you think he's going to say something heroic, like, if I'm not back in a day, just leave, go. But he doesn't. It's subversive all the time, and I just think it's such great filmmaking, and the series is fantastic. The film is just brilliant, and I don't know if people prefer the film to the series or the series to the film.
That's what I was just wondering. I was going to say is which kind of made the more impact. I mean, I would have thought that if the film was that much of an impact, that they would have followed it up straight away. But
that's the thing. It's whether they marketed it correctly. Because not many people had seen Firefly, especially, you know, talking from a British perspective.
I saw the poster for Serenity. I didn't even know that Firefly had anything to do with it. I just thought it was a standalone film, and I thought that was how they were doing it.
Well, if you could watch the film like that and it works as just a standalone film, but then you find out there's this whole
mythos
behind it, yeah. And you can tell all the ideas that they were starting to build on within the first series. You know, they had to sort of like put it all together and get it right with Serenity. But
so this was basically Serenity was basically a final fix for Firefly.
Yeah,
just its final. You know, we're going to go out with a bang, the bang that we didn't get a chance to before.
I think so, yeah, and I think it was like it leaves it open to do more, because at the end of it you find out that the Alliance's cause has been dented, but they're not going to stop looking for you. They're not going to stop coming for River. So you get the idea that they could do a sequel if they wanted. If it had been really popular, they possibly would have done.
Yeah, but
I don't think it did that well at the box office. It did enough. Again, I think DVD sales has probably more than made back its money now, but
yeah, that was way back in 2005 then, Universal.
Yeah. So look at the hell, 10 years ago, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just brilliant filmmaking, and I love it. I love it, and I'm so glad that if I can't have any more Serenity and Firefly, I'm glad that Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk are going on doing this Conman thing.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly, because things evolve, and you never know what's going to happen in the next 10-20 years. So that's it.
Yeah,
it's available on DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah, just if you've not seen it, I doubt anyone who listened to this hasn't seen them. But
yeah, exactly. When you see Firefly,
if you're a fan of if you're a fan of sci-fi or whatever it is, you just need to.
Sit back and enjoy it, and appreciate, you know, where it's coming from, and support the con man game,
which I think it's more than spoke for itself. You know, if you go into Indiegogo now,
Indiegogo, con man. Let's see what comes up.
Yeah, let's see.
Bingo, con man.
So what have we raised so far? $2,659,558 US.
Raised by 38,642 people in 24 days.
I'm one of those guys, Alan.
That's 24 days, man. And how long?
8 days left.
8 days left.
If you go down, you keep scrolling down, keep going. It's got all these stretch goals. I think that's the main goal that they wanted was 2.5. You keep going. Yeah, they've done it. Have they put another one up? They put another one for 3 million. The Conman game, free download and exclusive items for all funders. So now at 2,250,000, Spectrum comic book gets made, free download, and Alan reads a chapter of fan fiction. 2.5 million, novel written by PJ and Alan, free ebook to all, begin development on Conman Season 2. So I mean, it's phenomenal what they've done.
Yeah, I mean, this I've never seen a crowdfund like it.
Well, they broke all records. They broke all records for crowdfunding.
Yeah, that is impressive, and I don't think they're gonna have a problem as long as they don't sell it to a network. They'll be fine, and I don't think they ever will. I love the iconographic signifiers, the imagery that they're using for this. I mean, it's there's a comic book element to it. There's sci-fi element. Spectrum is going to be a huge.
Well, now they've made that much
show.
money. Yeah, they're going to do an episode of Spectrum, and they're going to build a ship and everything.
Damn straight. I mean,
It's fantastic.
Maybe there's a chance for them to get. Maybe that's their plan after all, to get Spectrum off the board. That would be interesting.
Maybe, who knows? But anyway, there we go. Conman is going to be fantastic. Firefly and Serenity was fantastic, and I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Can't wait for it to come out.
Exactly. And yeah, enjoy it. So Indiegogo, Conman.
Yeah,
Just go there.
There's 8 days left, I think, so just...
Okay.
Alright, well, thank you. Indiegogo, go pledge. It's fantastic. I love what they're doing. Firefly, go watch it. It's amazing.
Do it.
Do it now. Do it. Kill me. Do it now. That was Predator.
Oh, he's get to the chopper kind of thing. Yeah.
No, when he's like when he's coming over and he's trying to get him to go under and let the log drop on him.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, I'm here. Do it. Kill me now. Do it.